Welcome back. I It's been a long 5 days and a great 5 days. I'm not sure how much Saturday I'm going to remember. Um, this is the closing for Connections 2021. One of the traditions that we have is that at the closing, we announce the location for the next Connections conference. And please, dear God, the next Connections conference is going to be a live in-person event. Now, I usually try to keep it secret, but I think I've sort of kind of given away the secret a little bit by who you see on the screen with me. And let me turn the announcement over to her.
Yes,
Dante?
hello. This is Yuna Wang, and I'm extremely pleased to announce that the Institute for Defense Analyses, IDA, will be hosting Connections 2022 in person in their brand new building in Alexandria. In Arlington. Where are we moving to? Sorry, Crystal City. I'm sorry. So Potomac Landing near the new Amazon headquarters. And it will be hopefully next to the brand new metro stop at Potomac Yards as well. So brand new building, large auditorium, lots of breakout rooms. We really hope to see you there.
Yeah, and we're very grateful for Una making this happen, and it's very good in that since we're not meeting on a military base, we don't need to go through the wire. So this should make it easier for our international participants and for our civilian participants. Una, I'm very grateful for you making this happen, and thank you very much. Okay, next up is to say thank you for just a few people, and it's good to start with our host. And Lieutenant Colonel John Lord is kind of a host times two. He kind of led the efforts to have a live conference at his organization, and so he and Mike Dunn and James Sterrett were running around figuring out what were good hotels, what were good places for the icebreaker, which rooms were right. We got floor plans and all the rest. And as the winter headed towards spring, and the projections for when the world would be opening up again was just about the date of the Connections Conference, they made what I think is the correct decision of, it's just too risky. Let's plan for a virtual conference. And then, so Colonel Lord and his group, who had done all this work to make a live conference happen, now had to go and repeat all that work to make a virtual conference happen. So, I'm very grateful to any host we ever get, but the good colonel kind of did twice the work and his crew of a normal effort. But I also don't want to go overboard in praising the good colonel for all his work, because there's an individual who, by all rights, should be dead right now. Merle, if you can turn on your camera. I know you like to talk about being in the background, but please, please, please humor me and turn on your camera. Most of you had not seen this face, but this is Merle Robinson. He, just like the colonel, signed up for a live conference and wound up being the host for two conferences the same year. Merle signed up to do our publicity. And as he did last year, he was doing a great job on it and getting the word out. I think that's one reason why, as of right now, we have 413 people registered for Connections, including people from 23 countries, including the US. So he did an outstanding job in that area, but he also happens to be pretty competent about how this computer networking stuff works. So my father used to say, if you want something done, give it to a busy man. He went above and beyond to help the colonel and James and the whole rest of the crew. And it's right to single him out, but I don't want to imply he's the single one, but to really make this happen and make this happen far faster than in the last Connections conference, because we really thought we were going to have a live conference. And if you look at things opening up, it was pretty close if we had scheduled this maybe a month later. But anyway, so thank you, Merle. Please accept the appreciation of everybody. If this was a live event, hopefully people would be clapping at this point. But again, it's not just the Colonel. It's not just Merle. There's a bunch of people that participate in a Connections planning and prep group. And most years we meet every other week. This year, a lot of them were weekly because we were planning 2 conferences. But part of the feedback form you're going to get is going to be, would you like to get involved with this organization? And we're trying to increase diversity. We're trying to increase our ability to succeed if I get kidnapped by aliens. I am mortal, but then everybody else on the planning committee is mortal also. So we need new people coming in, and not only for my job, but for the co-chairs and for everybody else. So if you felt this week was valuable for you, you need to pay it forward and help out with everybody else. So having said thank you, having made our big announcement, I have closing remarks, and then I'm going to open up to an electronic version of our hot wash, and we'll see how that goes. But why does Merle put in this many hours? Not because of me. I mean, I'm a terrible person. And why is the Colonel putting in so much effort? Why have we been able to get these outstanding speakers, these outstanding keynotes, and several of the best were recruited by Colonel Lord, which I'm also grateful for, sir. It's because wargaming saves lives. That if we do a good job as wargamers, fewer people come home in body bags, fewer people come home missing limbs. And this is really important stuff. And this is something I've been saying for years. One of the things in the last few years is starting to occur to me, and that is, as good as wargaming is for saving lives, we can't save all the lives. It's like a MASH unit. You can save some of the soldiers that got shot, but there's going to be some you can't save. And one of the things I'm very excited about is some of the work coming out of Canada, some of the work coming out of our other international partners about taking this thing called wargaming that's been around for almost exactly 200 years in its modern form, and trying to see if the same techniques can be used before the conflict starts to put us in a better position if conflict does begin, and perhaps to put us in such a good position that our adversaries decide not to go to war this year, and then the next year decide not to go to war this year, and the next year decide not to go to war this year. So I don't know if Wargame is up to that task. It's probably not up to the task of avoiding all wars. But if we can avoid one war, think of the number of lives we can save. So important stuff. Looking forward to you taking what you've learned this week and bringing it home to apply it to making your part of the wargaming field that much better. And God bless you for what you do, for your support to Connections, and for all you're going to do next year before the next Connections conference. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, that's all I have to say. So in the tradition of wargaming, when it's over, the game director sits down, he takes off his tie, no tie today, and says, okay, guys, I told you not to fight the scenario. Now it's time to fight the scenario. Tell me what I did wrong. Tell me what I did right. Tell me how I can do better. So Merle is going to be putting questions on the bottom. If you have something you want to make a comment, comments are okay too. And once we're done, if you want to just keep typing into the chat, we're going to save them all and use them as part of the feedback. And again, you're going to be getting an actual form here in a couple of days. So anybody, Merle, if there is any comments or questions, please just start putting them in. And if nobody feels like doing that and it's Eastern time, 5:10, I'd understand that too. We have no unanswered questions. Well,
Hey,
I'm not.
Merle, I don't have a
Go
question
ahead,
on there, but I want to publicly say thank you also to Merle and to my team, led by Dr. Starrett and Mike Dunn and Kurt and Chaim, and Jacob and Don, who have done a wonderful job. Though my team and then the team of volunteers, David Milliken and some others that have come forward at a time that we needed help and assistance in putting this all together. So we're very grateful for all the volunteers that have come forward to assist in making sure that production and not only before the conference, but during the conference went off without a hitch. And without them, we couldn't have done it. In addition to that, I'd like to thank the CGSC Foundation. They assisted greatly, and they were very willing to assist with a live conference. And they took it in stride when we went virtual. And they helped out significantly as far as giving us registration statistics. Everybody that registered went through the CGSC Foundation to register. And also they will be helping us publish any of the proceedings that are brought forward for the conference as well. So I'm appreciative to the CGSC Foundation as well, and all that they have done to support and to help. And then last of all, I'd like to thank the attendees. I have met some great individuals, presenters. I had the opportunity to personally talk to a lot of the presenters, email, banter back and forth. Without them presenting on topics that sometimes they weren't aware that they were going to present on until one of us gave them, one of the volunteers said, "Hey, we should have a topic about this," and we put together a panel. So those individuals that presented, and then those individuals attended. Without them, we wouldn't have 403 registered attendees. Without them, we wouldn't have had 3 tracks that all ran simultaneously for 5 days. Without them, we wouldn't have had Connections at all. So I'm very appreciative of the opportunity to host Connections this year, and an opportunity to see Connections and to see it successfully come to fruition.
And thank you again, sir. And yes, thank you to the foundation. And again, thank you, sir. Well, unless anyone has anything else to say, and you just think next year you're only going to have to do one conference, and our thanks for that in advance. So, see you at Connections. Bye, all.